as it comes over from the House.
Wonderful, right? Well, I'm going to actually tell you why it doesn't matter. You're not going to end up seeing the files, unfortunately. And it all has to do with just one tweet that Donald Trump posted a few days ago. Now, you might have already heard that Donald Trump stated he plans to approve the release of the files. Well, you might remember on Truth Social not too long ago when Donald Trump tweeted that now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice together with our great patriots at the FBI to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many other institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. What he just said there is that Donald Trump is opening an investigation. He's opening an investigation, and the Department of Justice now has to deal with an active investigation. Well, what do the Epstein Files say? The Epstein Files say that the president will release the Epstein Files, or the government will release the Epstein Files within 30 days if there's always an if, there are no files that are obstructing an active investigation. Take a listen to this right here. They've said it outward publicly. Let me go ahead and play this for you guys.
General may withhold or the legislation as it stands clearly says, quote, the Attorney General may withhold or redact personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, unquote, and any material that depicts injury, physical abuse, death, or child sexual abuse, or would jeopardize an active investigation or national security.
Do you hear that last part? Or will jeopardize an active investigation. Let's listen to that again.
An active investigation or national security.
There you go. So with just one tweet, Donald Trump instructing the Department of Justice to focus on a new active investigation, because apparently all of the investigation they've done on Jeffrey Epstein was not enough. They have to do a whole new one, a whole new active one. Then those files will not be able to be released because it's going to obstruct the active investigation. So even if Trump goes ahead and signs this, which he will, well, Donald Trump could just have the DOJ extend this investigation for years until he's done with his presidency, maybe even longer. Who knows? And that entire time, those documents that the Department of Justice and the FBI will be looking into are going to be the documents that implicate everybody. Because, of course, why would Trump go from being so against the release and from fighting with Marjorie Taylor Greene and blasting her, fighting and blasting Thomas Massie, and all of a sudden, overnight, immediately, everything's okay. Everything's okay. I don't care anymore. Yeah, just go ahead and release it. I'm going to be a good president. Props to me. Go ahead and release it. It's all BS. It's all BS. We're not going to see anything. What's going to happen is it's going to get to the president's desk. He's going to sign it. But oh, whoops, well, we have an active investigation. So I did my part as president. I promise you I'm going to release the files. Told you this was all a Democrat thing. Meanwhile, this active investigation is going on. So sorry, you're going to have to wait for the most incriminating, the only incriminating files. That's always how it plays out. And we're left out here just treated like trash as American citizens, while the government and the corrupt government does what it needs to do. We're, of course, thrown on the sidelines. Here's the other thing, okay? Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother. Now, I don't really know how much, I don't have much trust for this dude at all. Regardless, though, interesting to hear him say. He goes out publicly and he says that they're actually actively sanitizing the files. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I don't know if anybody else has heard this today, but I heard this and I thought it was pretty interesting. Take a listen.
What I do want to talk about is I've been recently told the reason they're going to be releasing these things and the reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take Republican names out of it. That's what I was told by a pretty good source.
There we go. There's a reason they're going to be releasing these files. The reason for the flip is that they're sanitizing these files. There's a facility in Winchester, Virginia, where they're scrubbing the files to take the Republican names out. There you have it. Okay, here's the thing. I think that from when it came to the release of the JFK files, at that point that I ignorantly had a sliver of hope when it came to the release of the JFK files, because for those who know my channel, you know that I've been obsessed and I'm a big fanatic for John F. Kennedy and the files, and I felt there was a sliver of hope. And the JFK files were released, and I was like, well, there's nothing so shocking in here at all. So why did the government withhold it for so long? And then I looked at the fine print, and it said that the government will withhold files that jeopardize foreign relations or where the president deems the information in the files will do more damage than good, basically is what the fine print said. So they were able to get away with it. Now look at the Epstein files. Now we're having the Senate pass something, and it's the same sort of situation where, oh, look at the fine print. There's an active investigation going on. So sorry, guys, we're going to hold that back. Oh, what is the corrupt CIA and FBI doing? Oh, well, they're scrubbing names out. That we're going to hold that back. Oh, well, for U.S. security, national security, it's a national security risk by having Americans know that Jeffrey Epstein was working with Ehud Barak and the Israeli Mossad. That's a national security risk. Scrub that out. Don't put that in there, or might as well just brush it off for another 10 years. And then maybe 50 years down the road, when everybody's dead, we'll release it and we'll still redact Israel's name. Maybe. This is kind of how our government works. It's all a bunch of BS. And every moment, and this is why with the Epstein files, I kind of knew, Wally, just don't get too excited. It's nothing that we genuinely want is going to work, because there's always going to be some manipulative scheming behind the scenes. There's always that scheming behind the scenes. Somebody's always doing something. Now, with that being said, did Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ro Khanna do a great thing? Yeah, absolutely. Props to them. They really wanted this. And I think they did their part with the best of their abilities as congressmen to push for something that they really wanted to see through. They did it. And they had something that passed the Senate, from the House to the Senate. That's incredible. That's incredible. However, they still operate within a corrupt system. They might be good apples or honest apples within a very corrupt system. And the corrupt system itself is not going to change. Okay. So Trump is upset, doesn't want these Epstein files released, but he still wants to have good PR. He doesn't want people to think he's the guy who's implicated. So to save face, he's going to sign it, make himself look like an angel, say, see, I told you guys I was going to release it. And behind the scenes, this whole other thing is going on every single time. So I'm sorry, I don't want to be the guy to burst your bubble, but I'm seeing so many people react happily on social media, and I wish I could be just as happy, but the truth of the matter is this is always what happens. The government's always doing something, and the media, the mainstream media, CNN, Fox News, they're always covering for the government. So it's just one big jerk circle is honestly what's going on here. See, I'll check out some of the comments that you guys wrote here, kind of going off. Dead Republic, Kitty no, like JFK, it's going to get exposed. There's no hope with these liars. The people have spoken and we demand a limited hangout. Arms trafficking, money, bankers, Wall Street, global, a system corrupt to the core. Absolutely, Robert, it's completely corrupt. So unfortunately, that's just the situation at hand. Now, I'd like to think differently, but genuinely, do you think that if the Epstein files were going to do real damage, and expose billionaires and destroy, just collapse government officials, completely ruin careers, the most elite people in the world just implicated, you think if that was going to actually happen, Donald Trump would just flip overnight his decision and act like he's a saint now? Genuinely? No, of course not. Of course not. So, unfortunately, this is just the way things are. Now, we'll see how things unfold moving forward. If you found this video interesting, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It really helps me out, and give this video a thumbs up as well. I would have really appreciate the support. Otherwise, guys, I will see you all in the next video, and take care. Have a good night. Bye.